Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to ETA, Entrepreneurs in the Arena, ladies and gentlemen. And as promised, I know you're looking at the screen and saying, where is everybody? I know, but as promised, we do have part two today. And part two today is credit mastery for entrepreneurs. I just hope you guys are ready. I hope you got your writing utensil ready. I have my notebook ready because we're going to learn a lot about funding. We're going to learn about how credit helps with that. And we have an expert today, and he will be here shortly. Guys, just be patient. Wait with us. I'm sorry once again. I'm sorry, but not really, for the tardiness. One of the reasons is we want to give you the best show possible. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are in the comments. Start liking and sharing. Hey, Coach, how you feeling today?
Man,
Tell me how you feeling.
any day above ground is a blessing. It's a gift. Because we're living in the present. Now, last week, bro, let me tell you, I learned so much from some. I've been dealing with credit repair individuals, businesses, groups for almost 2 decades, and they was not that willing to give out some of their secrets or their magic, whatever you want to call it, their secret sauce. But X last week poured into us and a lot of our viewers. Let me ask you this, Leo. What was some of your major takeaways from last week?
Man, there was so many, but when he started getting into the funding, that's when my eyes opened even more. But the
Right.
way he was talking about leveraging credit, I was extremely surprised to hear the high credit score his 19-year-old son has. Imagine we knew this when we were 19. If we knew how to leverage credit, where would we be now? That put me in that mindset. Like, everybody always talks about cash being king. I know you heard that. Cash is king. Cash is king. There's a lot of people that have a lot of cash and still can't get a home.
Yeah.
So the whole story about him and getting that car, his Mercedes, how he thought he was gonna get one car and it was like, you had to wait another year, but it was all due to credit. There's like those. If you're credit rich, sometimes you don't even need the cash flow because cash will come to credit. Cash comes to credit. Credit don't come to cash.
Credit gives you a status, right? And I wish that we was taught this. Even though my dad told me credit was important, I didn't listen. I went to college, and I remember my first week in college. I was too young to get a credit card. I graduated at 17, guys, and all my friends was getting these credit cards, and I'm like, okay, good. So as soon as I turned 18, 3 months later, I turned 18. I got my first credit card. Went to the mall with all my friends. Bought all of them Jordan. Went to Dillard's. Went shopping, and I never paid the bill. I told my mom about it. She paid it full. My credit went back up. So, but the whole point is sometimes we don't listen. My mom and dad had A-rated credit, great credit. My son has a 759 credit right now. But because I told him the story about me in college, and he listened. He was not like me. He was more obedient, and he took it more serious because he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his credit. Me, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to go to college and have fun. He has a plan. He wanted to buy a home. By the time he turned 24, 25, he wanted to be able to buy his own car, not my car, but buy his own car with his own credit by the age of 22. So he's on pace to do all that.
Man, this conversation got deep. And I do want to thank the man, the man, the myth, the bearded legend over here. We got X from Relentless Credit Builder and Funding. He is now a family friend. This is a family friend. This is no longer, this is a friend of the show. We're going to have a list of people that are friends of the show. All right. So this man right here was not only giving up the secret salts, but he was really going in and giving definition for you guys to actually take note and learn more than any of these credit repair people out there. When they just give you like a spoonful, this guy just opened up the pot and said, go ahead, eat. Let's go. We're going to make this happen for you. So I appreciate that he was able to do that. And like he promised, He was on the road and he found the place to be stationary, ladies and gentlemen, just to be here with us folks in ETA. So without further ado, I'm going to give it over to John because this, John introduced him to the family and then we stole him from John. Now we talk to him more than John does. I'm just joking. And by the way, we have John's cousin James today filling in. This is John's twin.
Hey, James. That's it.
I'm it over to John so he could properly introduce the hair that he lost on his face and X took from him. His boy.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. So Leo's picking on me because I messed up my beard, so I had to do a quick reset. But hey, just like Jesus, you come back in about 3 days. So, hey, listen, X, I appreciate you again. We appreciate you being here again. For those of you guys who missed last week, man, listen, X went at it. He throws some serious gems on the importance of credit, how to get it right. So if you missed last week, go back wherever you're watching this or go on YouTube, right? Or send us a DM and we'll send you the YouTube link and watch the replay from last week. All right. And then come back over here. And obviously, you're about to watch it live as well. You can ask questions, share it, like it. Let's go ahead and spread the wealth and the knowledge, right? So, X, thank you for being back, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you. Like Leo said, you were on the road. You found a stationary spot right now. We appreciate you. And let the people know, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Perfect, man. First of all, like always, want to give it back to God. All glory to him, right? John, I want to give it back to you for the platform. Leo and Mark as well. You guys are always doing an amazing job. And to me, what's most importantly is giving back to the community, right? Thank God. God gave us some knowledge. God gave us some connections. God gave us some skill sets to be where we're at today. But I feel it's our job, our duty to continue to share the blessings and become a river of blessings for so many others that basically just don't have the knowledge that we have access to, right? So, John, because of platforms like this, it helps a ton of people and it allows myself and like you guys to just come on here and just bless the people with the information. Now it's just going to be up to them if they're going to take action, right? They always say you can go ahead and lead the horse to water, but you can't force the horse to drink it. So listeners, viewers, take action, take notes. It's great to be a dreamer. But we always tell people if you don't have the goals and they're not written down, that's what they are. They're nothing but dreams. They will never become reality. So yeah, John, you let me know. I introduced myself real quick. I know if you guys already seen it last week, you probably already know who I am. But my name is Xavier Marrero, owner of Relentless Credit Builder and Business Funding, where we focus on basically teaching financial literacy and teaching the importance of credit and helping people leverage their rights to actually remove any negative items and maximize their credit scores and help them build that as well. And then also we help them understanding OPM, other people's money, right? How can you leverage that good credit now and become one of these business owners, become that entrepreneur, or just become more financially secure with that extra money and what to do with that extra money, so, right? So that's what we focus on. That's what we've been doing for the last seven and a half years, almost 8 years. And I'm very, very happy where we're at today. And I'm super proud of how many people we've been able to help. So yeah, I'm here to share some knowledge. John, you let me know when to take off.
Yes, sir. Well, we're taking off right away, man. I know we left the people last week with the desire to hear more, right? To hear like, man, because I know we're talking about credit, right? The importance, the power, how to get it done, right? You really dive into it last week. And then I know we're going to talk about a few other things, right? Like the business funding part of it, which by the way, X and I spoke, I think it was yesterday, right? Yeah. I got another sucker round of Stripe. So they offered it. I took it. Hey, listen, I ain't complaining. So I know X and I had a conversation. There's a few things I got to work on, right? X and I, we're going to be working on that together so that I too could get one of those bigger rounds, right? But listen, if I get a bag of seeds, I'll take that bag until I can get two. All right. That's just how that goes. So let's land the puppy on the credit part, man, because I know it's important. I know you give us some serious nuggets. I did my homework, man, and I couldn't stop thinking after we did that podcast. I'm like, dude, I gotta get my credit back to where it was. All right. We all made mistakes. I definitely made some, right? Repent, don't do it again. So let's take a few moments to talk about that, man. And then you tell us if you want to go into the building part, because I know you're a heck of a builder, man. I seen it every time you throw one of those opportunity meetings in Tampa, the house gets packed. Am I right?
Very true.
So I know you mentioned the most important things about culture. So I'll leave it up to you, right?
Yeah.
But let's
So
start with the credit part, brother.
yeah. So I'll pick up where I left off, and then today we're going to speak about business funding, right? And then next week we're definitely going to get into the team building, which is going to be regarding the culture within your organization.
Wait. Time out. Flag on the play. Wait. We have to touch on building today. I'm going to tell you why. We have to.
Leo ain't gonna sleep tonight.
I got to inform you about this. In the organization I'm in, I'm the mouth, so I'm going to talk. Sorry. We have a mastermind at 7:30 in the morning. It's supposed to be a half-hour mastermind. And today, we were actually discussing, you know what, for those viewers, we're going to touch on funding. But this building part is very important because this building credit, building funding is building. Building is the fundamental of everything. We had a 7:30, and there was a question posed by this very intellectual man that loves to just play puppets. Like he's like a string. He just likes to, play people like puppets. He said, what's more important when it comes to an organization, culture or strategy? Mind you, this was supposed to be a half-hour call that went to an hour of men and women throwing in different ideas. And now that you say that, you just, somebody that wasn't involved with that, I hope those people are watching and listening, because we're playing angel's advocate, as we like to say. What is the fundamental of building? Because that does lead into funding and it does lead into credit, because it is building. So let's start there. How about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I put it like this. The credit, when it comes to business funding, I can talk about that in like 5 to 10 minutes. And then let's talk about that culture and let's talk about that, right? I just feel it synchronizes a little bit better. So guys, look, we already spoke last week about the importance of credit, right? It's costing you $250,000 to $1 million in your lifetime due to security deposits, high interest rates, and down payments, right? Now, understand that once you go ahead and get that credit report where it needs to be and have that solid profile, that 700 plus credit score, no negative remarks, no late payments, no collections. I don't want to hear, oh, Xavier, like my credit's okay or it's good, and then we see a collection that's been closed out and it had late payments, right? And they're like, well, it's been 5-6 years. It doesn't matter. It's still on your credit report. So as long as you have over that 700, as long as your utilization is under that 30%, there's no late or no negative remarks. You have at least 5 primaries. We spoke about last week how to get those primaries very affordable for the average American. And then also you want to make sure that you have less than 2 hard inquiries. So if you say, hey, Xavier, I don't have that solid profile, understand that you can get there and we can help you reach that goal. Now, what happens is a lot of people are saying, hey, Xavier, well, what about this business funding? Everybody talks about business, or in business credit. Great. There's 2 different ways to get to the business credit. There's your traditional way, which we have step-by-step, which is how to create your LLC, go to your tier 1, like Uline company, and then how to start building a relationship with them to start establishing credit with them. That's your tier 1. But we're only talking about a couple $100 of actual credit when it comes under your business. Then you do that about 3 to 6 months. You go to tier 2. Now these are like your gas card. You can go in mobile gas station, say, hey, I have a business, I have a corporation. I want to go ahead and apply. Well, they're going to see you already have a tier 1 account since they're tier 2. And if you have good history, they're going to give you that. But now you're within 6 months of your journey, right? After 3 to 6 months of tier 2, then you go to your tier 3. That's when you go to your Capital One, you go to your Chase Bank, and then now you ask them for a credit card. You're lucky if you get $1,000, maybe up to $5,000. And then after that, now we're in about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, then you can go in and ask for your traditional business loans and business funding because the business has established enough credit. But sometimes people are like, we don't got time for that, right? We got to get to this money now. Like, Xavier, how do we skip this line? How can you take someone that had bad credit, turn them into having good credit with a solid profile, now leveraging that solid profile and taking a brand new LLC, a brand new corporation that's only been open for 7 days, combine both of them, go to the relationship managers and the underwriters and get them approved for about $50,000 or more at 0% interest rates. And people are like, Xavier, how is that possible? What are you talking about? Let me go into some details. I'm glad you asked, right? So it's very, very simple, right? It's simple. Guys, look, every bank has 3 different products. Your first product is your business loan, right? That's going to be, they're going to require your business documentations, 2 years of tax returns, last 6 months of your bank statements. They want to verify that you can afford that dollar amount that you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for $25,000, then your business needs to be generating minimum $10,000 or more a month, because they're only going to give you up to 2.5 what you're actually bringing in, right? And again, this is with documentation. Option product number 2, the line of credit. Hey, I don't need the actual loan, but give me the line of credit. Same thing. They're going to ask you for 2 years of your tax returns for your bank, for your business. They're going to ask you for the last 6 months of your bank statement, and they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to see if they can qualify you based on your income of your business, right? And I received both products have a pretty good high interest rate. So then product number 3, this is the product that everyone overlooks. It's like that cloud that's above you that you don't know is there, right? So product number 3 is actual credit cards. So now a credit card, actually you can qualify for a credit card, business credit card, as long as you have the personal credit, and you can get $50,000 or more, right? How is that possible? The reason why is because credit card products have 0% interest rate for the first 12 to 18 months. Also, they don't need any documentation of your business generating any type of income, because it's based off of your personal credit score. And at that time, what we do is we have the relationship with the relationship managers and the underwriters who knows what to input when it comes to the application to maximize that funding for that client. So people say, hey, Xavier, well, I'm pretty sure there's a fee for all this. Of course. The great thing is the fees on the back end. We don't charge our client until they're actually already funded and they have access to their money, right? And then people be like, well, Xavier, why would I pay you if I can go do that? It's my credit score. It's my business. I can just go do the exact same thing. And this is what I always tell people. You can go do the exact same thing, but you're lucky if you walk out of there with $10,000. The reason why is because now you're just dealing with a manager. A relationship manager, normally you have to generate $2.2 million a year just to have that relationship. So now you are actually having access to our relationship managers. You're having access to our underwriters that, again, are almost guaranteeing you're getting that approval at the max dollar amount. Versus you go to the bank, they're going to give you a bank manager if you're lucky. They're going to open up your account. They're going to have you apply online. They might do it for you. But again, they're going to put information that is not going to give you the max funding possible. So, questions on that? Because like I said, business funding is easy.
It's all relationship based. That's basically what we're doing. We're stealing your relationship. That's why it's important to work with Relentless Credit Builder and Funding, because you are stealing a relationship that's been established for just about, if not over, a decade. That's what it is. It's the shortcut to get to the front. It's as like they like to say, it's the hack.
and let me jump in too, man, from a guy that just went on his second round of funding, right? Hey, I'm excited, man. Last time I took it. I'm not complaining. Listen, having the experience of going from 2017 when I launched my marketing company, right, to this year, a few months ago, it wasn't even that long ago that I got my first round of funding. I think it was in June or something like that. It was around June. And 2 months later, they offered me a second round of funding, right? I'll tell you this. You can bootstrap it. Like Mark Cuban says this. Don't be an idiot and get a loan. Don't get a loan. But if you're gonna get a loan, you better know what you're gonna do with it. Right? You better have a game plan. You better have something that is working, that you can just add fuel to the fire that's already there. Right? Don't go get funding. Like, for example, when I first started my first business, call it a business if you like, it was a printing business. I went and I bought a DTG machine, a Viper 2, that prints directly on garments. I paid $22,000 for the machine. I got into debt. I borrowed the money, right? I had good credit. I was a personal, whatever you call that, guarantor, right? Perfect credit back then. And they gave it to me, no problem. It was in my house in days. But mistake number one is I didn't have an existing proven client acquisition system or method. So what I did, I was gambling with money. All right. Long story short, I ended up selling the machine and basically just to pay it off. Didn't make a profit on that. That was experience number one. But this time, this is about preparation, right? People say, oh, you got to be prepared for when your opportunity comes. Listen, your opportunity will come whether you're ready or not. The question is, will you maximize on the opportunity or will it pass you by like a blonde chick and you're blonde? And I was going to crack a very bad joke, but I'm not. And I was going to say a chick passed by you and you're blind, right? But that's very inappropriate. So I apologize. But that part is this. If an opportunity comes by and you're not ready, it's going to come by anyways. For example, the cryptos. I don't know how many of you profit from the Bitcoin when it first came out. But if we were prepared, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We will be funding people, all right, out of our own pocket, I bet. But the whole point of this is that, listen, if you have a business that is already producing X amount and you could add funding to it, it's just going to make things go way faster. That's it. Now, what's the flip side? Let's talk about the pain points of not being funded. You could bootstrap it and basically do the whole rat race by yourself. Because imagine this. For most self-employed people listening right now, that cash flow that your business produces, that's your living expenses coverage too. You're living off of that money. So now imagine you got, let's use simple numbers. You got 10,000 coming in a month. Actually, let's use a smaller number. Let's say you got 5,000 coming in a month and your expenses are 4,000. You got 1,000 that you have to play with, if that. So you're always kind of like trying to repair as you go. I've been there, done that. You're like, man, where do I find the leverage? That's how big companies became big companies. They got freaking funded. All right, so that's the pain. Why not find out if you qualify? That's what I would say. And if you don't qualify, get qualified. Like when I talked to X yesterday, I ain't the perfect candidate yet. I got the cash flow, but I got to fix my personal credit. He's almost there, right, X? But it's still needs some work. So X is gonna hook me out with that part, right? We're gonna work together on that, and eventually you see me getting 100,000 funding, right? And again, you add the money to you add the fuel to the fire that's already existing. All right, but I just wanted to throw that jab in there, man, because that way people don't.
Let me ask you this question real quick, both of y'all, or Leo, you can add on to this too. What would be the major difference, the pros and cons versus raising capital, just like going on Shark Tank and acquiring funding versus?
Let me throw that in there.
Yeah.
X, let me take 2 seconds. Equity. I ain't giving up no equity in a baby company. Why the heck would I want to give somebody equity when I could borrow it, knowing in my confidence that I can repay it back and still own 100% of my business? All right, that's the difference. Now, if you go to a Mark Cuban or a Shark Tank, that's different. Now they come with a team, they come with experience, they come with leverage that you do not have, relationship and connections and distribution that you don't have access to, that no money could buy. That's the difference. Hey, Mark Cuban, I'll give him 99.9% of my business right now if he comes to me. I'll take 0.01% and I'm happy. Because I heard this once in 2020 with a guy that was way bigger than me that's trying to merge with me because he knew I like sales and his team was not really that great. He was making 1.3 million a year back in 2020 when he approached me. My ego said no. And he goes, John, white dude, I forgot his name already. I erased him from my memory, but cool dude. He's doing phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal. He's connected to Grant Cardone now, so he's doing big. No regrets, by the way. But he said to me this, and it's the first time I heard this saying. I'd rather own 1% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. He insulted the life out of me with a very smooth quotation.
All the time, John.
So that's the part right there. Difference between funding and you own 100% equity, or go sell your soul out there, man. But X, what you got, man? Tell us.
Yeah. So real quick, I 100% agree with you. It will be just giving up that percentage of the ownership, which long term can be worth a lot of money. You know, just look at Facebook alone, right? Just it could be something that big. And at the end of the day, when it came to the funding part, because you answered that question to the best that I can, I think John stole my answer. Let's just say that, right? But guys, look, when it comes to funding other people's money, OPM, understand this. John made a good point. It's very important for you to understand what you're going to do with that funds, right? This ain't for you to become hood rich for the summer or for that year. You know, how are you going to be able to invest this money? So that's one thing we do teach our clients as well, because a lot of times when they're coming to us, they just say that they're business owners to get funded. But now we're going to teach them how to create that passive income. And some of our clients, well, a large percentage of our clients take a percentage of that funding and they put it into life insurance, right? Because that is an investment. You know, that is considered, you know, an asset in your portfolio. That is dependent on which I'm not the expert on this area, you know, you guys will know more, but depending on what kind of, you know, policy you go with, you know, that can be an investment, and a lot of times they are investment. So we do teach people that. We don't say, hey, here's the money, go figure it out. We want to make sure we give you a solid game plan. If you don't have one, we have so many different partnerships that we actually work with to help our clients create that passive income with no expertise, because now they have the capital to invest and actually pay the expert and actually go to work.
That's to go to John's comment and Mark's question. That's it. It's equity. You want to own your baby, unless there's going to be somebody who's going to make it blow up. Look at the guy that did Scrub Daddy. He gave a lot of that to one of them, and you know what? He made multi-millions in 1 year, and he's not even majority owner. So that's a whole different type of equity business partner. But to your point, as far as investing in life insurance, is huge. That's huge. You get with the right agent, they'll make that loan. You can make that loan pay itself through life insurance and still be on top, because you're making money work while it's supposed to be in your bank account. You take it. There's so many ways to flip it, especially legitimately through life insurance, where you take that loan, invest it, part of it into a life insurance plan. Now you take the loan on the life insurance plan that you're going to pay yourself back, pay back the loan. Now you have to just pay yourself back, and it's over, because now you're paying yourself back and you're getting interest to pay yourself back. It's crazy. So this is what people are doing. So, I mean, you're such a important piece to what we do for the people that are trying to create legacies fast. You know, it's like you literally throw gas on the fire, and, you know, I don't know about you guys. I'm not the greatest guy on the barbecue pit, but, you know, you take the charcoal and you just throw, and start seeing the big ignite. That's what you do to people's business if you get the funding right away. Like, that's what it is. Like, if you're able to do that, now you just made this a whole like 2 or 3 year plan. Anybody who has a plan out there, I see your question. Everybody who has a plan out there, you can actually add funding and make it so it's like, instead of a 5-year plan, you could change that to a 2-year plan. If they work with you the right way and work with the proper advisor, it's over. Your business is different. Just go out there and knock it out. Let's see what question. We got Natasha Rodriguez here. She says, what are the benefits of freezing your credit while you're working on building your credit? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, It depends. You know, can you freeze your credit? Yes, so that way, if anybody try to run your credit, they just don't have access to it, and there's no hard inquiries being reported. But I can't think of a benefit for you to freeze your credit report while you're building it. Anytime we freeze a credit report, a lot of times is because there's some fraud, or you know, like I said, we will prevent companies from actually looking into the actual credit bureau. But I just don't see any benefits. Now, don't get me wrong, freezing your secondary credit bureaus is amazing while you're repairing and building your credit report. And there's several companies like Nexus, Lexus that people don't even know exist that actually holds a lot of your personal information, that a lot of companies have access to it. So if you freeze that, those secondary credit bureaus, yes, that's very beneficial for your credit report.
Mm, okay, that's a new one. I've heard of some kind of method of freezing, but I had no idea what that was about.
Yeah, I had that done in my 20s. That's a good method, but like Egg said, there's no real benefit, to doing it when you're trying to build it. None. Now, I would say this to the question I asked earlier. The only time you may want to do partner up with somebody or get funding is when you plateau, when you scale as far as you can go. Now, the money is not important, but you need the knowledge, you need the mentorship or the expertise from other people to help you scale it even further. So,
That's right. 100%, man. That 100%. I definitely agree with what Marcus said. It is known that at some point you hit a wall, right? So you either get a consultant to come in and find out what's causing that shortage, right, of growth, and or partner up with someone that has done it, right? Partner up with someone that has done it and get it done. But it is true, man. Most businesses, and it's crazy. Like, for example, most self-employed people, dude, they make like, I know a ton of folks that, well, not a ton, I know like 5 or 6 that are making about 200, 250 a year, and they're chilling. I'm like, all right, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, you like going on yachts, and you like going on cruises, not yachts, cruises, and taking vacation every day, and that's cool, man. Listen, most Americans don't have the luxury to have, even 100,000 in income.
I tell you this: when you're in the industry or entrepreneur, there's no cap in your income. Why not make as much as you can while you're here?
Comfort, man. Comfort is the enemy of growth. You want to grow, you cannot be comfortable, man. Every day when I get up, I'm hungry for 2 things. 1, coffee when I come back from the gym. And 2, I'm excited to see what else we got out there, right? That's why, for me, I know what gets me excited, and I would recommend people to find out what gets them excited. I'm always buying courses. Like in the last 2 weeks, I've invested in a few courses, right? I'm like, dude, I gotta learn. I gotta get excited. I want to see what's the new technology. I want to see what's the new thing out there. I want to make my mind go bigger, right? Because yesterday's man is not gonna take me to tomorrow's man. All right. So you got to go to someone that's in tomorrow and have that person propel you to the front. All right. So that's that part, man. But that's the importance, or part of the importance of if you qualify, first of all, all right, get funded, man. If you got something that's rolling, do it. Trust me, someone that just got funded for the first time with a little bit of money, it wasn't even a lot. I mean, it depends who you ask. It helped.
Yeah.
He helped.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir. So that part, man, I know. I don't know if you got more on that, on the funding part, Eggs. I don't want to.
Nah, I really, there is, but I'll be honest with you, like I'm kind of itching to get into the culture training.
Boom.
And then, so we can end it like that, but then I can still come back and like really tackle the whole business funding and just open up their minds a little bit more when it comes
Wait a minute. Can you say that louder for the people in the back? Did you say come back? Say it. Bring it back. Come rewind.
So yeah, of course, man. Like I said, we're family, and I love what you guys are doing for the communities. So I feel almost obligated to be in this platform and come back as often as you guys need me to just share the knowledge, man. So we about to get into something that I really love and have a passion doing. So you guys let me know when I have the green light.
You the man,
Mark,
brother. You
Mark,
the
you
man.
think we should pose that question to X and
Yes,
see what he's
yes.
talking about?
So we all know that culture is important. We know strategy is important, but you have to pick one. You only have to pick one. Which one are you leaning towards?
Culture all day, no hesitation.
No hesitation. Can you unpack that, please?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, people just want to be part of something. And when you are in an environment where you feel like you're safe, you're secure, it doesn't matter if you're making income or not, you're going to stay there. You're loyal to that community, you're loyal to that organization. And let's be honest, which I'll go into more details with facts 95% of your organizations are lazy. So, how do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them wanting to be around? How do you keep them, even if they're not making a dollar, for them to be loyal and show up whenever you need them to show up to play the role that they need to play? The strategy is cool. You know, numbers don't lie. And yes, you know what I mean? You got to have the right team players for that to work. If everybody's a go-getter, everybody know their position, and it's time to go, they can get the work done, and that's amazing. But let's be real, 95% of Americans are lazy. So how do you create a culture to keep them around? And I'll get into that.
Yeah, let me go ahead. Go ahead. Now this is Mark. This is Mark Thing, man. He's gonna go with all the questions. Go, Mark. Go, Mark.
I want the people in the back to hear what you're saying. I want to give you a credibility because I don't want them to think that you just woke up in the middle of the night and just started building. What the largest amount of people that you actually I don't like using the word recruited, but built.
Yeah, I mean, I give it to the team Relentless. As you guys can see, it's tatted on my arm. So I never take credit for it. So Relentless, as a team, we have built an organization as large as 10,000 agents and customers combined nationwide.
Okay, so this information is coming from someone who actually built an organization with 10,000 plus people. So I just want to give you a credibility, man. So, yes, sir. I'm a numbers guy.
And we already said, right, documentation beats conversation. And I was just speaking with someone today, like how John said, just looking for the next mentor. And I told him one thing. I related to him because I can never pay someone to teach me something they never went through. I don't care what you have learned through books, through a teacher. I don't care what degree you have. What did you go through life? And that experience, how did you overcome it? Because if I'm going through that same experience, I need someone to feel the pain that I'm feeling and to be able to walk me through a path that they went through. So, yeah, this is something that's, again, it's my passion.
That sounds like ETA. When you look for mentorship, looking for somebody who has experience, the theory, right? And the application, someone who actually did it or doing it. So, yeah, man, we with it.
That's it, man. That's it. And for you guys in the back, man, that may not have caught what X just said. Listen, being the builder that X is, having, made it to the 7-figure mark, that most people, by the way, most people in this life will never do it. And that's not negativity. That's just reality. Why? X said it earlier. People are lazy. People want the microwave mentality. People want to go to college for 4 years, get a 6-figure degree, sit on their butt, make it to 65, and hopefully retire. That life sucks. I'm 34, and I figured that thing out when I was 18. That life sucks. And I was no genius, and I still am no genius. All right? But for those people at the back that didn't catch what X said, he's looking for his next mentor, someone that went through what he may be going through. And guess what? When you, for example, Jesus Christ, before he started his ministry at age 30, he spent 40 days and 49 plus. He lived in this planet for about 30 years before he started his ministry. By the way, Jesus Christ was one of the shortest ministry that there ever was on this planet. 3 years before he got crucified. He was in his prime. All right? But guess what Jesus did? 30 years in the synagogues, learning. Even though he's the Son of God, he has all the knowledge. He went through all the things physically in the flesh. For us not to have no excuse. Right? And before he went out there and recruited the 12, he spent 40 days and 40 nights fasting in privacy with the Lord, being tempted by the devil himself. And by the way, most people out there saying they're getting tempted by the devil, man, you're not that important to be tempted by the devil yourself. You know how many people in the Bible got tempted by the devil himself? You might be being tempted by a little demon, but not the devil himself. God rebuke him, right? But the whole point is this. Jesus Christ had to go through all that so that when he got the 12, it was firsthand experience. Firsthand. All right? So that's the fastest way to make it to wherever you're going. Find someone that went through, not, and like X said, not someone that read it in a freaking book. All right? I went broke 4 times. I didn't read that in a book. All right? You got to experience it. I could read it in a book, and I may feel bad about someone. But when you go through it and you feel it in the flesh and you feel your blood going through your veins like grain of salt of the stress, when you cannot sleep at night, when you wake up in the middle of the night with panic attack, with sweat, you cannot tell me that. You got to have experienced it. All right? And that, but it sounds horrible, but it's a blessing. And if you haven't gone through it, I hope you don't. But if you do, praise the Lord for that. So that part right there, getting a mentor, man. So going back to it, and it's funny you guys are talking about culture. I heard Alex Hormozy's wife. Actually, I heard Alex Hormozy and then his wife. I don't know if you guys know Alex Hormozy, right? And if you don't, Google it.
Yeah.
All right. He said his wife's living dream, what she lives for, is to create a business with the best culture in the planet. The best culture. All right. It's like when you're part of something and you're submerged in that culture, it's hard to leave. Not for more money, not for a better opportunity, not for a shiny object. By the way, most people out there are following shiny objects. I work with a lot of agents. Most of them, they're desperate. Right. By the way, when I read this book, unsponsored, I disappeared most of my low paying plans. I said, you know what? This book says right here by Myron Golden, it is easier to sell a $50,000 product than it is to sell a $5,000 product. Because who you're selling to at $50,000 is a totally different individual. They don't bother, man. Hey, $50,000, hey, just check. I just wired you the money. Someone you try to sell a $50 thing to, they're like, what? What if it doesn't work? Like, bro, no wonder. All right. So that part right there, man. Now, what else can you add, X, to the culture part, man? How can someone build a culture? Because it's not easy. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's hard. All right. But
Yeah,
how would you say, man? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John. So, I'm going to get straight to it. So everybody get ready to take notes. Like, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know. So when it comes to culture, guys, the first thing is knowing your organization, knowing your team. And what does that mean? Understanding that if you broke your team down, 5% are going to be top leaders. Those are going to be like your Johns, your Leos, your Marks, that they're going to go do the work regardless if you're there or not, right? You don't have to tell them they have their own ambition, they have their own drive, they have their own vision. They're going to go get the work done. Then you have 10% are your up-and-coming leaders. These are individuals that, yeah, they're very coachable. They definitely want something better in life. They're looking up to you, and whatever you're telling them to do, they're doing it. But if you're not there, they're kind of lost. They really don't know how to take that leadership yet, but they have the characteristics to become that leader. That's only 10% of your organization, right? 85%, the remaining, they're just good teammates, business partners, clients / agents, right? So how do you target the largest percentage and create that culture for them not to go nowhere else, and more importantly, for them to continue to grow? Well, the first thing in your culture should be having fun. So I want everybody to put have fun, right? Everyone in your organization, that's your main focus. It's having fun, not business. It's having fun. Let's have some fun. Let's get days that we all get together. We all go bowling. We'll go top golf. If you're starting off, I swear, see, the devil is alive. Everything was working fine, and then it'd be like that. Well, anyways, I don't care if you're starting off. Go to Little Caesars, grab a whole bunch of pizzas, and have a pizza party for your team, right? Just show them having fun, right? And I'll get into why and how. And then the second thing is learning. You have to be able to teach your team. A well-trained team is a well-paid team. And the last one is getting results. We can have fun, we can learn, but we got to get results. Money has to be made. So first of all, you got to ask yourself, who are you? Your team should have like this mission and vision together, right? I don't care if it's just 2 people or 20,000 people, right? The vision and the mission must be the same, right? I will read mine off real quick. Our vision for my organization is this. As an organization with a clear vision that works and builds together with passion to help others while having fun, applying principles and morals to our business and personal life with the end goal in mind at all times, showing respect and trust amongst each other, practicing accountability with working with integrity, and honoring recognition. So your team needs to know that, right? So ask yourself quick questions. How many people do you want to join your team? That's something you should have written down, right? How many people you want to not just join your team, but stay in your team? You don't want to have a revolving door, right? What you want to do is you want to be able to not only get people to come in, but stay in, right? And how will you like it where your team can make more money? So how do you do that? The first thing is you got to have your team engaged at all times. So how do you do that? You start inviting. Guys, look, depending on your type of business, you should be inviting every single day. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if it's going to be for clients. I don't care if it's going to be for new business partners. Whatever the case might be, invite. That's going to be to the webinars that your team is doing. That's going to be to local events that they might be doing. So, to actually share the opportunity or the business or the services or the products. You want to make sure that you're constantly going to conference calls. You want to make sure that they're constantly going to regional events, trainings, right? So it's inviting, keeping that team engaged. So when you keep that team engaged, you just understand that now it becomes more like a family environment, right? They know they have to be there. But I tell people all the time, you better lead by example. You better be there. Remember, you're the one who's leading. They're going to duplicate everything you do. Your leaders are going to duplicate everything you do. Everybody else is not even going to do half of what you do, right? So make sure that you are actually going in there as well. And then, guys, look, meet and greets. I promise you, we've seen so much success. When people said, X, how was you able to recruit hundreds, if not thousands of people in a month? All we was doing is meet and greets. Family and friend gets together. We wasn't talking about business. We were just having meet and greets. Everybody, hey, invite your family, invite your cousin, invite your homie, invite your friends, invite your neighbors, invite your coworkers. Yo, we're just going to have a barbecue, or we're going to go to the beach, or we're going to go grab some hookahs, or we're just going to go ahead and vibe out as a family. And these meet and greets, people will come, and they're like, man, I love this vibe. This is pretty dope, man. Like, again, the culture. Like, what is it that you guys do again? Boom, you got them. Because you didn't have to pitch them on anything. You just invited them to a meet and greet. The environment was great. Good positive energy. Now they're asking you, like, how do I become part of this? And even people that are not producing, people that are not even making money and might even be paying a monthly subscription to be a part of your team, they're there because guess what? They got somewhere to go. People always want to be part of something, right? People go to church sometimes just to be part of something. Let's be real. People join different clubs to be part of something. So it's the exact same thing. Your culture, your environment should be that. I want to be part of that, right? So you want to make sure that those meet and greets, you're building those relationships. You really don't talk too much about your services or your products or your opportunity. You just show them the culture, how much fun you guys have, right? Another thing is, guys, look, right? You want to make sure that you're giving your team recognition. Like, drown your team with recognition. Top leaders like me, thank God I had a pretty good life when it comes to everything that I did. I put my heart, my soul, my passion into it. So I always been top producer. So since middle school, as a basketball player, right, I didn't make it, obviously, but I always was a starting point guard. I always have recognition. I don't need recognition, right? Give me the paycheck. But the average American would die over recognition before a paycheck. It's a proven fact. So how do you show your team that, yo, I appreciate you? I want to give you recognition, right? Because, again, people will die over recognition before they'll die over a paycheck, right? So very simple, guys. If you're starting off, go to Home Depot, buy the little certificates that you can print out on, and just give them printouts. If they just joined a team, their first sales, they're attending events, they travel the longest, they've been here the longest, it doesn't matter. Yo, you put that, I'm telling you, you go there, you spend a couple bucks on this actual paper, then you go to the dollar store and buy nice dollar frames, you print something out, right? You say, John Smith, congratulations on your first sale, and you present this in front of people, you give them that. John Smith is so lit up. His job never done that for him. His own parents never done that for him. Now you come in and you just give him this certificate that it might have ran you after ink and everything, maybe $2.50. But you know how loyal John Smith is about to be to you? Because he said, man, Xavier recognized this work, and it was just my first sale. Imagine what he's going to do for me when I get multiple sales. Then that's what you do. You sit there, it's like a good wife. You just keep pouring into her. Okay, baby, you want some red bottoms? I got you. You're acting right. You're doing everything you want. You want that expensive dinner? I got you. Oh, baby, you want vacation? You want a massage? Baby, I got you. It's the exact same thing with your team. A lot of times, people that are leaders, you're in a position because of your team. Stop taking the credit for it and stop treating your team like you're the man. You're not. Stay humble. You are your team. Your team is you. So I'm not better than my team, and my team is not better than me. But I show that so recognition because I'm the one who's making the top dollars. So I'm not better than you. I could just provide more than you can right now. But that means I'm providing to everyone because we're all going to eat equal because that's what you want them to feel. Right? And then go out there and get trophies for people. Set goals with them. Man, yo, look, I got websites that I can go to. I get them very affordable. And then when Things to Remember have a 50% discount, Things to Remember got good quality stuff. Look up that company, Things to Remember. Sometimes they have that 50% off. Oh, I'm spending $25, $50, $100, $200, $300 on a trophy for one of my agents, one of my reps. Why? Because they might have made me hundreds and not thousands. Maybe hundreds of thousands. What's a $600 trophy that I'm about to get at 50% off and pay $300 for? But that trophy is going to be solid. That trophy is going to be presented in front of everyone. That person, I become their biggest cheerleader. Their own spouse don't even do that. So it's like now people are like, yo, man, no, you got to be part of X's team. You got to be part of Relentless. Like, they'll teach you like family. And then I'm going to tell you one thing. When it comes to the recognition, I had one agent that 1 week, that agent alone made me $3,500. She lives all the way in Massachusetts. I told her, get on the next flight, come to Tampa, we're having dinner, and you'll be back home by tonight. She said, Xavier, what you mean? I said, I don't care the dollar amount because if you made me $3,500 just this week, how much more money you going to make? So if I have to spend this whole $3,500 just to get you here to have dinner to show your appreciation and get you back home to Massachusetts, from Massachusetts to Florida, Florida back to Massachusetts, then that's what I'm going to do. And it cost me $1,500 to do it. I still pocket another $2,000. And guess what? Her loyalty to this day, and that was 5 years ago. To this day, that woman is loyal to me. And then what do? You create an environment where people feel safe. So what that means, there is no tolerance for any negativity. John said this earlier. That one negative person is the cancer to everything. If you don't cut that cancer off, it's going to spread through the body and it's going to kill the body off. Your business is done. I don't care. I will use my best friend as an example if he's the one that's going to ruin the culture that we created. And that person's getting kicked out. I don't care how much money you bring to the table. I don't care the knowledge that you bring. I don't care anything. If you come with disrespect, you're gone. If you come with a different mindset, guys, look, some of us are in teams where, look, we got some good-looking people around us. You better play your role. You better play right. And no one's going to feel uncomfortable. Guys, we have a part of the launch where let's meet the spouse. Let's make sure your spouse feel comfortable around us. And guess what? A lot of times they're going to end up joining anyways because of the culture. Because they see this is nothing but about principles and morals. This is family oriented. The money just comes with it. Why? Because we're having fun, we're learning, and then we're getting results. So we got results. The money just came with it. But people don't feel like they're being pounded down. Oh, look, how many numbers you got this week? How many numbers you got this month? Oh, you didn't? Oh, this person's no good. Kick them out the group. Kick them out the chat. No. You don't do that. I hate leaders that do that. Oh, this person wasn't good enough. What do you mean it wasn't good enough? How long did it take you to get your business up and running? Oh, 3 months, 6 months, a year? And you're judging this person? I don't care. I had an agent that took 2 years before they took off. But they went from night to day. And it was crazy because I told him, his name is Rob Santiago. I said, go ahead and write a letter to God, my brother. I can't do nothing more for you. It's been 2 years. You see everything that's happening. You see the 7 figures being made. He wrote a letter to God. In 30 days, that man's income quadrupled. His organization quadrupled. But I tell people all the time, right? It's how important you make it to the team of the principles and morals. How important you make it to the team that at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. I need to make sure that we feel comfortable. I need to create a culture that even when stuff hits the fan, we're rocking out together. You're not looking for the next shiny object. Who's going to give you the recognition? Who's going to give you the respect? Who's going to teach you the principles and morals? They're not. So you're going to stay here. And as a leader, again, stop being that. Take the spotlight. I'm going to tell you one thing as a leader when it comes to building culture. When great things happen in your organization, take the spotlight out of you and give it to your entire team. Now, when something hits the fan, you as a leader take full responsibility. And if you got to have that conversation, that tough conversation with your top leaders, you have that conversation with your top leaders and you come at them and you keep it 100 with them and you give them whatever energy they need to get at the time. But when it comes to your organization, you always keep it very mellow with them. And you find filters. Hey, if I got to deliver a message to John and his organization because they might have been slacking and I know I might not be feeling the best and I might come at John a little bit crazy, even though I love him, I'm going to go ahead and tell Leo to go ahead and be that filter for me. Leo, I need you as a leader to reach out to another leader and I need you to deliver this message to John. Because sometimes as leaders, we're so passionate that we kind of be a little aggressive and that top leader of ours might take that in a disrespectful way and they might change their point of view, the way they look at you. So as a leader, you have to understand it's not about the title, it's not about the money, it's not about the recognition, it's about the responsibility. See, everybody wants all these big organizations because they know your big organization equals big paychecks, right? But let's be real. Do you want the responsibility that comes with that big organization? That you have to be on these webinars, that you have to be on these trainings, that You might do a training, get off a training to be on their training, get off that training, to host a training, to get on that training, to be a speaker on their training, to get off that training, to host a training for your team, to get off that training, to actually do an opportunity call for a brand new agent. And guess what? $0 came out of it. Do you have that will? Do you have that hunger? Do you have that ambition? Because remember, in the culture, it's about energy. So whatever energy you have is the energy you're going to transfer to your team. So that's why I said there couldn't be no negativity. Think of it like this. Everybody know the movie 300, right? There's that famous scene when that pharaoh comes and disrespects him, his queen, and his actual people, which again, that's his culture. What did he do? He said, I understand what you said to me very clearly. Let me tell you what you said. You disrespected my people, you disrespected my wife, and you threatened me in my eyes. Cool. Before you know it, he got a kick to his chest, and he's going down this big, deep hole that we don't know where he ended up at. Have that same attitude as a leader with your organization. Anybody comes with any negativity in or outside the organization, you're going to kick them. You're going to give them that 300 kick as soon as possible.
300.
And you're going to let everybody see. Because they have to respect you. But you have to lead by example. Right? So, again, guys, when it comes to actually creating a culture, you want to make sure that you're creating it by having fun. You want to make sure that you're providing the right training, the right knowledge. And then you want to make sure people are out there getting results. But you yourself have to do all this. And guys, look, when it comes to recognition, I done sent people out on trips. Even in the beginning, when I couldn't even afford the trips. See? A lot of people is that. You know why your team ain't growing? Because your vision is not big enough. You know why your team ain't growing? Because you're too scared to invest, not even in yourself, but invest in your team. You know why your team is growing? Because you're thinking more about you than you're thinking about your own team. When you start thinking about your team more than you, by default, you always win. So I was sending people to dinners that I really couldn't send myself to. I was sending people to trips that I really couldn't send myself to. But guess what? On social media, we're speaking about it. The people were speaking about it. People are like, I want to be part of X's team. I don't want to go nowhere else. And by default, I started with 4 people and then myself, and we ended with over 10,000 people in 2 years. And that's all I did, guys. I didn't do nothing special. I'm no one special. If you guys know my background, I don't even have a college degree. But I can tell you this, I came from a certain environment that you had no choice but to play your role, right? I came from a certain environment that the principles and morals, you couldn't play hooky and skip those classes. So I always tell people this, right? People don't join the industry for the business. People actually join the industry to create a better life. And then people actually don't join a company, they join you. It doesn't matter what company you're with. So if I left the company, like how John said, John seen me go to 2 different companies, and John seen me bring the massive over. And it wasn't because I was X. It's because of the culture that I created. See, true leaders create leaders. Fake leaders create followers. In your culture, you got to have a system where one leader is teaching the next leader, but then who is the next leader? Then who's the leader after that? I had a system, there was 4 tiers. Like 4 tiers before you came that top leader. So again, you have to have that culture for every single personality in your organization. And you guys should know about personalities. If you don't, look it up. There's colors, there's animals. But when you learn somebody's personality, you know where to hit them in the gut because it's meaningful for them. So in your team, in your culture, learn personalities. Learn if you're. I'm a red personality. Yo, get straight to the money. We need to think big. Yo, what are the details? You said we got to cross the street. We crossing the street while we speaking. Then you got certain other personalities, blue personalities, yellow, green. Some of these people want to save the earth. Some of these people need all the information on the world. And some of these people, they just want to be lit. So based off of your mission and your team and your culture, how do you cater to all four of those personalities in a genuine way? You start putting people in play. Yo, the person that likes to have fun all the time, you're in charge of all the events, family and friends, right? The person that likes all the information, all right, you doing presentations, right? The person that want to go ahead and hug everybody and save the world and kiss every baby that they see and every puppy. All right, cool. Then let's go ahead and how can we do outreaches? How can we get back to the community? And you're in charge of that. I'm in charge of just going out there and getting business. I'm in charge of making sure I'm training. That's my personality. So now these four personalities working together, the results are going to come because I'm not going around hugging babies and kissing babies. I'm not going around partying. It's not me. And I'm not going around searching for all this information. Nah. But tell me we need to get a job done. I guarantee you I'll get that job done by all means necessary. So when you learn these personalities, you know what positions to give people, what leaders to put to oversee certain projects, certain responsibilities. Yo, someone that's just brand new to your team, you know how you make them feel appreciated, they're part of that culture? Yo, look, when people are coming in, I want you to sign people in. Then you get the next person, right? And you say, hey, look, man, you're a good-looking guy. You're a sharp-looking guy. You're a sharp-looking woman. Hey, I need you to greet people. Smile. Walk them over to the next person that's going to sign them in. Then you get your little bodybuilder, and you're like, yo, Playboy, do me a favor. Work the door. Make sure the line is under control. Like this is, so I need you here every single week because you're responsible for the door. I need you here every single week because you're responsible for signing people in. I need you here every week because with your beautiful smile, people are going to be coming over here. I need you every week because I need you to carry my equipment for me. Not because I think you're lesser than me, because this is what I had to do to get here. I had to carry my own equipment. You want to get to where I'm at? I need you to carry my equipment. So I need you here every single week. You see how I just got like 4 to 5 people to commit every single week that doesn't have a leadership role? Now they feel like they're part of Relentless. Y'all just joined last week, but I'm already signing people in. I'm already greeting people. I'm already playing bouncer. I'm already carrying the projectors, the lights, the sign. Yo, I'm working to register. Put people to work and give them responsibilities that might not have nothing to do with the business, but it has everything to do with the business. And look, a family that prays together stays together. And one that walks apart falls apart. And that comes down to your business. That is your family, period.
Man, he just took the hammer and boom. And man, so hold on, X. So all that stuff you said, you mean leaders gotta put in some work, man? Like I'm not just gonna bring people in and get rich.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you one thing. If you ain't never scrubbed the toilets, don't ever ask somebody under you to scrub toilets.
That's it, man. That's it. And it's funny you say that because I get people coming to me all the time, like, "Hey, John, help me, do recruiting ads, right?" I'm like, I got a minimum amount requirement. Are you earning that much? Have you been through the fire? And I said this, and I learned it by experience. Like, I'm not gonna help somebody recruit so that there's a bunch of broke people hanging out together. It's like, no, dude, it's not a bro club. There's book clubs and there's bro clubs. I don't belong to either one of those, right? So that's that part, man. You said it. Walk by example, be the leader, put in the work, recognition. If you guys know, and it sounds like you guys know, John Maxwell leadership, right? He says you want to recognize and magnify what you want to grow. All right. The problem is this. is that we want to just, like, when we got kids, and I got 3 boys, so I got to catch myself all the time. We only address them. Some parents only address their kids when their kids screw up. But when the kid does something nice, he goes unrecognized. So when the kid wants attention, he already knows how to get attention. Goes do something wrong. Mommy and daddy are gonna pay attention to me then, right? That's why you see there's behavioral troubles out there. And me as a behavioral child, I had problems when my parents got divorced, right? So the kid acts up. Why is the kid acting up at school? Why is the kid acting up at the park, at home? The kid's trying to get attention. And based on the behavior that you instill in that child only gets attention when he misbehaves.
Waiting for the people to show up.
So they're gonna do it. And Leo, you are unmuted, my brother. I just muted you.
I wasn't talking, buddy. I'm sorry.
You're not. You're good. You're good. I was just waiting for the people to show up. I don't know who said that, but it's all good. So listen. What X said, go back and watch this recording. Go on YouTube, listen to everything back, right? Again, what you focus on grows, right? What you recognize is amplified. And it will spread. That's the hard part. As a leader myself, that's a lot of work. All right. And knowing who to place, like what X just broke down right there, he just broke down the whole play. I would highly recommend, if you have an organization, whether that is one person, don't matter, that you're still a leader now, right? Or whatever that number is, go back and listen to that play. That was a play-by-play situation. All right. Like, for example, I don't like to do menial tasks and spreadsheets and blah, blah, blah. I assign that stuff to somebody else. Go do it. Ain't gonna make me no money. That ain't gonna help me help you. All right. So that's the part right there, man. So that's some serious gem. I know we went past the time, well deserved. You know, that information is fire, and I hope people were taking notes. If not, go listen to the recording. Now, let me ask you this, X. Let's say someone got a coach right now. They got a team. And it might be a little messy. All right. For leaders listening out there. All right. For example, what I did with my organization last year, it was messy. I had some appointments set, I fired them all. I fixed the problem. All right. They were all lazy. I said goodbye. Kicked them out in December. Bye-bye. That was my Christmas gift. All right. They got warnings, by the way. It wasn't like harsh. But for someone that may have not the right culture right now, but they're already in the ditch, they already got the people, where would you say they should start to fix the culture? Because it's going to take work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to do this for another company, and they basically wanted me to come in and like just clear house and just train their managers and go create new teams. So I told that organization that I feel that they were wrong. I feel that what I had to do is look at the management team first. And then I decide if I'm gonna clear house with the employees or I'm gonna clear house with the management team. So I say that to say this. The first thing is you need to look at yourself. As the leader of that organization, your team is a replica of who you are. So look at yourself. What bad habits did you create? And what bad habits did you allow to be practiced in your organization? Right? So now you're holding yourself accountable and looking yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, what mistakes did I make for this to kind of just snowball? Right? It was a small little thing. Now we have this big organization. Like, this is the culture. So I'll give you an example. I had a leader who, when he did a lot of his trainings, he would curse. You know, F-bomb, this, that. Hey, it's cool, but we got to be respectful. Again, that environment. So I let him know, my brother, when I allow you to come up and train or speak, you cannot curse, right? He respected that, but every leader that came under his leadership will get on and curse. So we had to clean that mess up. I had another leader that, you know, every time we went to an event, he will find a bar, because a lot of times it's hotels, so you can go to the lobby and grab a drink. And then would show up to the event with a drink in his hand. Guess what? His whole organization started showing up to the events with drinks in their hands. So that's the first thing. You got to look at yourself, say, hold on, what did I create? Right? What did I do? So that's the first thing you got to identify. After you identify that, if you do or if you are or not the problem, a lot of times you will be the problem. If you're not, then you have to identify, well, who's the cancer in my organization, right? Is it Mark that's showing up every single time to our leadership, but he's showing up late all the time? You know what I mean? Is it Leo that when something hits the fan, he's a negative person that starts spreading the negative rumors, and instead of focusing on solution, he's creating the problem, making the problem even bigger? You know, it's a John that, you know, likes to talk about other people's personal life because he might have found out some stuff, right? So who is it that's creating this cancer in the organization, and how do you address that, right? Because you always want to give people opportunities. So you want to go out to your leaders and say, hey, Mark, I need you to do me a favor, my brother. Look, you're a leader. People look at your actions. You know what I mean? You're showing up. One, you're showing your team and our organization that it's okay to show up late because you're a top leader. Two, you're disrespecting me, my brother. Like, respect my time. And again, this is when you have to have real talk with people, right? And then, you know, now I'm going to have to and tell Mark, hey, Mark, look, next meeting, I need you to be on time. If not, my brother, you will get kicked out the top. I mean, you'll get kicked out leadership. Like, you cannot come to these meetings, right? And then I got to give that example and show that to everybody. Look, y'all see Mark was always coming in late. Mark ain't here no more. Go ahead, and I dare one of you guys to be late now, right? And then I'll go to Leo. Yo, Leo, look, one thing that's going to stay the same in business is change. We're always going to have change. Now, as leaders, it's up to us how we deliver that message to our organization. The way you're delivering message, you're being negative. Oh, the price went up, or the services are not the same. But it doesn't matter. We have that conversation and we go up. But we don't have that conversation and you go down with it, right? So now I have to have that conversation with Leo. And then John, like, you know, I forgot what example I used with John. But you start recognizing that, like, who has the influence in your organization, and that influence that they have, is it good or is it bad? So now you said, okay, well, John also influenced the team. He's very ambitious. His energy is high. Then now I got to give John what we call the smack sandwich. I call it the smack sandwich. Take notes, guys. This works all the time. It's called a smack sandwich. I said, John, my brother, you are amazing. You've been doing very well. You're one of my top leaders. I'm very proud of you. But John, you're messing up in this area, and I need you to clean this up because it's really affecting the team and it's really bothering. And this is not acceptable. But John, at the same time, my brother, keep bringing that good energy, that vibe, bro. Because of you, the team is always lit. Like, I appreciate you, my brother. We good? John, we good? We good. I gave John the smack sandwich, right? I smacked him, butter him up, and then I smacked him again, right? But John needs to feel like, okay, well, look, X did call me out, but X didn't do it in a disrespectful way, and he actually gave me more recognition that he called me out on my BS. But he didn't call me out on my BS. I need to fix this. So one is identifying who you are and what problems you might be causing your team, what bad habits you have and what bad habits you created. Two, who are your top influencers in your organization and what kind of influence do they have, good or bad? And if it's bad, how do you correct them and give them another opportunity? And then three is, I tell people every single day, God gave you a new day to just become better. So wake up tomorrow and just start with that culture. Become who you want to be. Like, what you see, become that. You know what I mean? So if you see your team is tribing, your team wakes up. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, my team, they know, wake up every morning, you better start listening to Blessed and Unstoppable. Like, you need to do that. Like, that's a great habit. My team knows at night, I want you to listen to something spiritual. I don't care what God you believe in. I need you to listen to something spiritual. You know what I mean? And then throughout the day, listen to something knowledgeable that's going to make you better in your own craft. So those are just habits. But then I got to show my team that I'm doing that too. So that's how I would say, if you have a mess in your organization, recognize who you are, what you might have created, and what habits are still there. You know what I mean? And take fault for it, and have that real talk with your leaders. Hey, look, I sat back and I realized this. I effed up here. I want to get better. I want you guys to hold me accountable. But yo, Mark, I realized this about you. Leo, I realized this about you. And John, I realized this about you. Let's step this game up. Like, yo, honestly, guys, at the end of the day, like, we're in the fourth quarter. We're going to end like this. And I need to make sure you guys are on board. If you ain't on board, I respect you more. If you tell me to my face right now, you're not. But please step down and let somebody step up. And then, yo, once you have that team like that, and I tell people all the time, man, be that leader. There's two different speakers, and I'll give it back to you, John, real quick. There's two different speakers. There's two different lieutenants. There's that one lieutenant that can go up there and he'll give a speech in front of the army, and they're like, yo, man, that was one of the best speeches we ever heard, right? Cool. You can be that lieutenant. Be the second lieutenant. That lieutenant that goes up there and gives a speech, by the time he's done, that army's like, yo, we ready to go to war. Like, let's go to war. So become that leader, and you're going to see that impact in your organization in a very positive way. And whatever mess you have, don't worry, it's your past. We all live and learn. Like, just fix it now as soon as possible and get your leaders on the same page.
Man, that was fire. And I think there might be a part 2 to that, man. That's some serious stuff. And you hit it right in the nail, man. I always say this to leaders. Your top leaders are going to produce about 50% of what you have produced. These numbers, stats, that's just how it goes. All right. Don't expect someone to give 100% if you only get 50. They're going to give you 25%, half of what you did. All right. So, and to wrap up with this, man, before I let that team go that I mentioned earlier, my 18 appointment setters of last year, I saw that they were not producing. They were not being consistent. So what I do? I started a competition internally. I created a leaderboard in the group. I put a top 5 and a top 3. And guess who was number 1? I was number 1. I was doing exactly what I told them to do, and I was beating them all combined. And then guess what happened? Numbers started going up. Guys and gals that were not doing anything, they started popping up. 1 here, 2 there. Whoa, what's going on? They see the leader in the front. All right. Because the worst thing that could happen is this. If I got 18 appointment setters, or whatever the situation is in your business, and they're thinking that they're working for me, no, man, you don't work for me. And I always tell everybody that works with me, you don't work for me, man. We work together. I might own the company 100%. That's going to remain like that until you prove yourself. And if you prove yourself, I'll give you a piece of it in writing. I'm cool with that. Bring value, and you get value. All right. But lead by example. You got to show it, right? Like Jesus Christ, when he told us to pray, guess what Jesus did most of his life? He was praying. Intimacy with the Father by himself. He will walk away from the crowds and say, hey, I'll be back. I got to spend time with the Father. And then he came back on fire. Boom. Healings. This, miracles, wonders. Right? But he led by example. All right. So that's that, man. I would say, if you got an organization, go produce, make those numbers as public as possible, start a competition. After you do what Egg said, by the way, go talk to the people that are creating the cancer. Eliminate the cancer. This is the same way churches are ran, by the way. By the way, I think it was last year or this year, at the beginning of the year. I think it was last year. I'm in charge of lighting at church. I set up the lighting equipment for the stream. 4, 5, 6 times I was late. I was setting up the lights right on time. You don't turn on the lights on time. You got to be there at least an hour before it starts. When the first person starts to come in besides the leaders, that has to be set up. My pastor sat me down one-on-one with love, and this man has so much patience. I would have ripped somebody's head. All right. I would be like, hey, dude, never mind. I don't need you doing this. We appreciate it. Have a nice day. Right. He didn't say that. Hey, where are you coming late? What's going on? You know, it doesn't look right. You know, can you be here at this time instead? With love and patience. And I know inside he probably was furious. He's Puerto Rican, by the way. I know he was steaming inside. All right. He was letting the spirit speak, not him. And guess what? I'm there an hour early now. sometimes an hour and 15 minutes early just to make sure. And I have not been late since because it was done in private. Now, if you would have done that in public, now you're messing with my ego, man. And I got a big ego, man, with big wings. And he bites. All right. So that's that, man. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up. We appreciate everybody watching. We appreciate you, X, for being here, Leo and Mark. And I know Leo and we got something cooking in about a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
I want to make sure that we always have X on the Rolodex. But with all that being said, this was fire. Building call. All
That's
gas, no brakes. Thank you. This has been another episode of ETA Entrepreneurs in the Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to give you information. See you on the next one. We're out of here.